Well, good evening, all. Ira Epstein with your financial market wrap-up. And this wrap-up is for the evening of Tuesday, the 16th of April, 2024, about 6:25 p.m. Central Time. All right. I think the event of the day was the conversation, the question and answer period is really the way to call it, as the bank governor of the Central Bank of Canada and our Federal Reserve Chair both took questions. And it was an interesting day. And as you can see, if you saw Mr. Powell's answers, and that's what I care about, not that I don't care about Canada in any manner. We'll talk about that in a minute. He sounds like he's higher for longer. Canada looks like they're looking for the opportunity to go down. More similar to what I'm seeing in the European Central Bank as well. Given that their numbers are falling, given that unemployment is starting to stabilize at higher numbers and deflation is starting to kick in, as I told you, I think it's a race to the bottom. And I think the last person standing will be the U.S. Federal Reserve. So I think banks will go ahead of it. And that brings to mind the question of this. What do you do with the euro versus the dollar? So I decided today, and I waited for the right time, to do a special report on that. And let me bring that report up for you, which, I got it right through here. My mistake on that. I'll bring it up. There you go. And this is a special report on the euro. We hear so much talk. Is the euro going to go back to parity? Where might the first stepping ladder down be? Did we hit the first ladder to the downside? So what I cover for you in the report in detail, I go into and I look at the seasonals. I go on a month-by-month basis, gains, losses, something you haven't seen from me before. I then break it down looking at 5 and 15-year charts for you. I then go into the monthly charts? Nope. Weekly? Yep. Daily? Yep. And add to it all the numbers that I have along with price counts. So you get the whole picture as to where I think the market is going, give you an idea of why I think it's going there, lay out the fundamentals and the chart action. To view the report, simply go to iraepstein.com. under the word research, or move your cursor to the top up here, and it'll take you right there. Either way. The report's only up for 3 business days, so if you want to see it, you rush to it. You won't be able to get it otherwise. If you're one of my clients, I've already sent you the emails with the links. Go in, and it's available in your member login as well. Okay? All right. So next, let's take a look, if we can, here at what we've got. Oops, that's not the one that I wanted. Here we go. It'll make it easier. There we are. All right. We get the Mortgage Bankers Association numbers in the morning. We get the EIA petroleum stock estimates at 9:30 a.m. And then we get the Fed Beige Book, which gives us an idea of how the different regions are looking. So not a very active day. Now, in Israel and Iran, what is going on? As you know, Israel is threatening to attack again Iran in a retaliatory measure. They called a third war cabinet today, and they abandoned it. They decided to call it off as Western allies pressed Israel, hold off, we're going to come up with more sanctions. I can tell you the one sanction that was thrown out yesterday that won't be happening. I don't see Joe Biden, our president, putting a sanction on Iranian oil in front of an election where oil prices could spike. People will be angry with him. It'll cost him votes. You know, he still hasn't closed the border. The ideal reason is because he's letting people in to vote. And I know you'll say they can't vote. You better check the laws. For a federal election, can they vote? You're going to be a bit surprised. So these people he's letting in, which way do they go? Do they even participate in polls? You know, that is the thing. But you don't stack the odds against you. So do I think the right thing to do is cut off Iranian oil? Absolutely. Do I think it'll be done? No chance. No chance. Spike in prices, summer driving on top of that. Who knows where you go? So the question is, what can the allies do to appease Israel so that any strike is very, very, very surgical in nature? Of course, Iran's ministers are coming out and saying any attack, you haven't seen anything what we'll do. If they go the next level, they'd be out of their minds, okay? There is a point where, number one, I don't know that Israel should do anything. Number two, if they do something, where does Iran stop? And if they don't both stop, game over. You're going to be in another regional war before you know what's going on. So somebody somewhere along the line has got to find a way to end this, and I don't know the way to do it, okay? That isn't my job. I'm a futures guy. When we take a look at the S&P, you can see the decline is going on. It probably wants to see the market go back to what I call the line in the sand, the 18-day average of closes on a weekly close-only chart. Wouldn't surprise me, and that's about 80 points lower from here, 70 points. When you take a look at the chart action right now, you can see that you've got what I call a vertical price break. You made a high and you've spiked down with every day now having a lower low than the prior day. That often is accompanied by a vertical decline. That decline, where's it going to go? It's either a Bollinger Band or the closest moving average if one is under it. Well, it went to the Bollinger Band. It spent 2 days, 3 days under it. It's trying to get to the right-hand side of it. Going to the right-hand side doesn't mean it's ready for a rally, but it takes away it being an extreme to the downside, and it gets traders saying, okay, there's still more downside left, and you are in an oversold area. At any point, you can get a bounce in the market. The problem is, how does it fight a Fed that keeps saying over and over, higher for longer? I know that you'll tell me we don't have to worry about higher for longer. As long as corporate earnings come in and beat expectations, that theory works. And I'm not saying that won't happen. The moment that fails, the game's over. Okay, so that's what the market is counting on. So we watch all of them. So far, it's a minor beat. But remember, we just began the reporting season. When you look at the mini NASDAQ, here too, you had gotten under the Bollinger Band and you're moving to the right-hand side in an oversold condition. In the micro mini Dow, you got back within the band today after spending several days, 2 days out of it. And now on the third day, you're popping back, but you are embedding. What does embedding mean? Embedding means that you're taking the momentum of the market and changing it from being oversold to locking in a bear trend. It's like a rubber band. You pull it enough, it stretches finally. And when it stretches and lays down, till you apply heat to it and it comes back maybe. And that gives you the snap back to the upside. Well, you're not doing that here. If we look at it, you can't count tonight's action. So you go back and you start counting. Well, both numbers were under 20 here. Both numbers the next day, which was Monday, were under 20, and the day before they were under 20. You have your fully embedded reading. So in this market, I'm looking for the pros to probably be willing sellers at the 38,548 level to see what that's like. Now, that'd be 400 points higher. I don't know that you're going to get there, but that would be the only number I see on the chart. The Russell is more similar to the S&P and the NASDAQ, oversold down to the Bollinger Band for a few sessions and now bouncing to the right-hand side. But all the numbers in these markets, the 100-day average is the resistance point on the way back up. In the 10-year notes, you just continue to leak away. And we have an embedded reading, which again is that very bearish part. Both numbers under 20, both numbers under 20, and both numbers under 20. You absolutely do. Which tells me on the first good rally in the market, good being probably not exceeding this number, probably something up through here, I think the pros are going to look to go short on rallies in the market there, and they'll probably do the same in the 5 years. It has the same identical picture. In the dollar index, you've now got yourself 3 days over the upper band. You rarely go more than 5. I wouldn't be surprised to see it back off a little, but it's in the process of embedding. So I'm seeing that market wanting to head up. It's one of the reasons that I did the report on the euro versus the dollar, but I'll let my report do the whole thing for you. I'm pretty proud of it. It looks pretty good. I hope it's as right as I was in stock indices, which are the last ones I did. Remember October and November? And tell me those calls weren't right on the money. Higher high, lower low. oversold. Okay, I'm waiting for a bounce in this market. British pound, oversold against the Bollinger Band, waiting for a bounce. You just had a bearish crossover tonight. You just got the 18-day average under the 200-day average. I'm telling you, there's problems brewing in this market. In Bitcoin, no bounce at all. Now, we're already going to be on the 17th trading. 2 days, 3 days from now, we're going to get the halving incident. When that takes place, for all the effort and energy and cost that you put in on your mining right now to get a Bitcoin, that gets cut in what? You have to double it to get the Bitcoin. That's what halving means. So you're going to get fewer coins made. You're going to lose some miners. The economics don't work. Remember, there's only going to be 1,000 of these coins. I forgot what the number is. There's a big number, but it comes to an end at that point. I'll look that up again. I forgot the number. I'm not the biggest Bitcoin fan, as you know, but I'm a chartist. And as a chartist, you have a market that's oversold, bearish, hit the Bollinger Band. I think the pros are out of their shorts. In Brent versus WTI, market up here, fighting its battle at 515. Then I think it's 21 million Bitcoins. You come down through here and here, and as you look at the market, slipping back through this, okay. So you have your embedded reading in place, all right? As I said before, if the world can sit back and appease Israel in some manner to do something minor surgical at the most, maybe nothing, but at the most, maybe you do slip back a little bit here and try to get back to the 18-day average, the same in the WTI oil. Gasoline doesn't have to do that. A different set of fundamentals at work there. Each warm day that goes by takes us closer to May, and later in May, the kids are out of school and Americans start driving. That's going to be going on. How high does the market go? You put it together, you try to come up with your game plan, and I gave you one. If you want to see my Eurocurrency prediction, all you need to do is go to our website, iraepstein.com, under the research area. You might want to look under education and see what I have there too. Or you can move your cursor up here, and it'll work for you that way. I'm Ira. You have yourself a good evening. I'll talk to you tomorrow.